Elite 15 men's doubles. The community competition is alive and well as the men's doubles in the Melbourne Convention Centre are deep in the thick of things. But that is the beauty of our sport. Whilst the storylines at the top level that include multiple teams already qualified for World Championships, a deep roster of roll downs, and one of the youngest ever participants on the Elite 15 stage, all of them started right here on this finish stage. And my, doesn't Melbourne, doesn't Australia bring all of the vibes? There's going to be plenty more tonight as we get going here for the Elite 15 doubles.
I'm gonna get back when I feel.
And here they go. Of course, they're gonna go out fast. They're gonna go out furious.
Penalties do seem to be getting dished out a lot at the moment. That red card.
This is a red card. 5 penalties. There you go. That's the warning. Botterill and Russell getting the penalty this time around.
60 seconds for Zara and Gabby there. That's really going to hurt them.
This is going to be absolutely wild at the wall balls. I think she's just finding out how close this race might still be. They're going to make it! They're going to make it! This is absolutely ridiculous!
Welcome back to the Melbourne Convention Centre. The sun is setting and it has been an unbelievable picturescape for what is to come. It's just been an unbelievable weekend already, and whilst we are here for the Elite 15 men's doubles over in the other stage across the way, our community competition is live and well with the age groups. Once again, I'm alongside Tilschenk and Greg Williams from the Rox Life. Gents, what's been your favourite thing about running both the elites and the age groups side by side this weekend?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's such a fantastic community in Hyrox, and like there's just so much excitement around the venue for everyone racing their own races, coming to see the Elite 15 finally coming to Australia. There's just all the excitement throughout the community, really.
I think it's the opportunity for them even to race together, which is amazing. We got so many elite athletes who were like, can we race tomorrow? So they're going to mix it up with the folks over there on the same track. It's brilliant for both sides.
100% off the back of course, our brand new, also defending world record holders, Jess Petro's running doubles with her mum tomorrow out on the age group stage. And that's what makes this so special. And also that all of our athletes started right there and worked their way up. Community really is at the heart of it all. Now, before we get our fingers deep into the men's race, let's cast our minds back to Hamburg. What were the highlights? Of course, there were two gentlemen that really stood out, and an Austrian and a German laying down an absolute marker off the back of his brand new world record. Alexander Rončević teamed up with Tim Wenisch, and they set an unbelievable time to beat of 49.17. That was the 7th fastest of all time. Arguably, that record did come on a open course. This is the grid, but what a way to start their campaign.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was incredible, but then we're seeing, you know, Jake Williamson and Alen Ploj, and what a combo these two are. Alen Ploj basically not saying a word, but such an incredible partner to Jake Williamson. But then Jake Williamson, you know, it's like, is there a person he does not perform with? It's incredible. To me, he's one of the most rounded double specialists we got in the business right now. So they are racing again here today. Excited to see what they're going to do after the qualification in Hamburg already.
Yeah, and then in third spot in Hamburg was Jake Dearden and James Kelly. So Jake Dearden didn't have the greatest race of his life in the singles the night before, but they came through at the very last minute to get the third qualifying spot in Hamburg. Former world record holders, really strong lineup. They fancy themselves in Stuttgart, I think. So impressive performance from them on the day.
It's fast, it's furious, it's the men's doubles, and we are in its second iteration, episode 2, Down Under, and it's taking us all over the globe. Whilst we started in Hamburg, we are now in Melbourne, but next up, we cross the Atlantic to Phoenix in the new year. Warsaw rounds out the majors in Poland, and then we have our regional passported racing. It'll take us back here to Brisbane, but also to London Olympia and Washington, DC, before culminating in the big one, the World Championships in Stockholm. That's going to be in June, Greg. How are these athletes on this start line going to make it there?
Yes, and again, there's 3 qualifying spots up for grabs. 3 teams claim their spot in Hamburg and another 3 up for grabs. Tonight, there are 2 teams that already have their qualifying spots. So Jake Williamson, Alen Ploj, and James Kelly and Jake Dearden already have their spot. So potentially, you could get a qualifying spot rolled down to 5th spot tonight.
Unbelievable stuff. Looking back over the course of this weekend, Till, it's been spectacular, and we can relive it all if we want to.
It makes me kind of sad that we're now looking back. You know, yesterday we stood here, we looked ahead of what's going to happen today, but we're headed into our final race. But the great news for everybody who missed our singles races or the women's doubles just now, you can rewatch it on YouTube. And let me tell you, we've never seen more drama in one weekend in Hyrox racing than we've done on this weekend so far.
That's an understatement. Those wall balls are going to live long in the memory from every single race this weekend. What else lives long in the memory? Well, it is the qualification pathway to get here. Take a look at this.
The Elite 15 is the professional racing series of Hyrox, where the very best athletes in the world go head-to-head. In the 2025-26 season, the Elite 15 will compete across 4 majors, 3 regional championships, and on the ultimate stage, the Hyrox World Championships. In doubles, there are no automatic qualification major entries. Every place on the grid is earned through speed, with time qualification based on each double's single best pro double time from the past year. The top 15 men's and women's pairs earn their place at each major. As with singles, the top 3 teams book their path to the World Championships, with roll downs ensuring 3 duos always advance. But once you qualify as a team, there are no substitutions. You race together or not at all. Beyond the majors, 3 regional championships will decide the final entries for Worlds. These are staged in Washington, DC, London, and Brisbane. To compete, you must hold a passport from that region, Americas, EMEA, or APAC. Each regional champs crowns a single winner, and that athlete or double claims the last place on the World Championship start line. The Elite 15 is where champions are made. 4 majors, 3 regionals, 1 world champion. This is Hyrox at the highest level.
Well, here in Melbourne, we do have a really interesting start list. Because of the nature of where we are in the world, a lot of the Americans have chosen not to travel. But it means that we have a real deep roster. Elite athletes like Rončević and Alexei Bernier, Jake Williamson and Alen Ploj lead the Elite 15 Pro Doubles Men's lineup. But they're going to be challenged by the recently qualified Charlie Botterill, and he's going to be alongside his partner Ollie Russell, wanting to get their doubles ticket. In addition, Luke Ennis becomes the youngest ever athlete to step onto the Elite 15 grid, and he teams up with Connor Higgins. And then breaking news this morning, of course, that John Wynn and Graham Halliday have had to withdraw due to illness, and we wish Graham Halliday all the very best. Till, what money? What's the cash? What are they walking away with?
You know, that's it. We're not just talking about glory and World Championship spots. We're talking about hard-earned cash, and it's going to be hard-earned here today. But if you do earn it, you walk away with $10,000 for the win. And even 5th place is still sitting at $2,800. That's a lot of money and worth fighting for every single wall ball.
So, whilst the Ashes might not be going so well for England down under at the moment, we've got a couple of, rookies, a couple of dark horses that might be able to shake things up. We sent some of our Hyrox athletes to see if they could out-bowl a few of the status quo. This is what happened.
We are in Australia, and that means you don't get around cricket. So we caught up with 2 of our elite doubles to find out more about our athletes and, of course, to see how good their teamwork really is.
But someone throw like this? No.
90, 92,
Yeah.
93.
Huh?
People throw that.
Really?
That speed. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Put that on.
Give me 3 of them.
Right there. It's not that big.
How did this team come together?
We got told about the last chance qualifiers last year for the doubles elite, and I basically just put out and said, who wants to do it? And Alen said,
I was joking. I wanted to him, me, and he beat me.
And then I had a few people message, and then ended up, we went and did London together, and then qualified in London, and now we've qualified already in Hamburg this year. So
I don't like gloves. Can I do it without gloves?
You have to wear the gloves.
Huh?
You have to wear the gloves. It'll hit your finger.
Die.
We're at 50 at the moment. Yeah! Money!
Oh! So many athletes to choose from. What makes Alen different?
he's a star.
Other than being quieter than Hunter?
Yeah, it just worked out that we were both wanted to do it again together, so here we are.
We trust each other. First one's 40.
All right.
It's 60. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Whew. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go 60.
60, okay?
Yeah.
95.
What was that on? 60?
95.
That was 95.
It was 95.
60. Can I have it back to 60, please?
Oh, I've got a big head.
We're starting at 40. Watch out! Right, 45.
Catch it.
Whoa.
I'm in the wrong sport.
50. 60. Oh.
70.
How do they get these on?
I don't know.
Can you give me a hand, please? This isn't my area of expertise.
God, we've both got big heads. There we go.
Are you ready to witness the worst cricket performance since England in the Ashes this year? It can't be that bad, can it?
So how important is teamwork in doubles?
I think because we kind of know each other's strengths and weaknesses, so then yeah, I think in that sense it is. We still would like to do more training with each other and see each other more, but because we still do live a bit of a chunk away from each other, we don't get as much as what people think. So when we go and race, like in Hamburg, we probably went into Hamburg not realising that our kind of abilities have changed since when we first qualified in London. So now we're trying to understand where we are now, but that's only by racing and seeing what you're actually doing in that kind of race environment.
Gentlemen, thanks for the fun. Looking forward to see you all race.
Get Ollie Russell in that batting order, that's all I say. Well, the boys had a little bit of fun and we learned a little bit more about them, mostly that Alen Ploj cannot be trusted. But Jake and Alen as a duo, they've been pretty formidable this season.
We'll see if it put a dent in their trust or not, that 95 instead of a 60. But they've been amazing. They work so well together. They race so fast and they understand each other with minimal communication out there, which you kind of need when you're racing with Alen Ploj. Not a lot of communication happening from his end there. But, they're both amazing athletes who've done so many things before and who got things in common, like playing soccer. Jake played well, but Alen played Champions League twice, European League 5 times. It's all that experience and that grit and that training that they're bringing to the grid here now. It's going to be amazing to watch.
Now, Greg, what about Charlie Botterill and Ollie Russell? Because this man right here made some big old statements on the live stream when we were out in Hamburg, and they're not really warranted.
No, they're not.
Sorry, Till, I really threw you under the bus there, didn't I?
I just want to say that there's one person named Ollie who actually confirmed to himself what I said, but take it away anyways.
So they're a fantastic duo at the end of the day. I mean, there's a huge amount of excitement around Charlie in the sport at the moment. Fantastic performance from him last night to get a spot in the singles in the Elite 15 in Stockholm. But they're a great team. They finished 5th in Hamburg. They finished 9th in Chicago in the Elite 15. I think they've got the 3rd fastest qualifying time for this race. They narrowly missed out in Hamburg because of penalties, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I think they think this is theirs for the taking tonight.
We've got JK and we've got Jake Dearden. I mean, you mentioned before what can happen if you have a bad Elite 15 singles race. You can come into the doubles as an element of redemption. And whilst we saw that with Jake Dearden in Hamburg, is there an opportunity here to see the same with James Kelly on the floor tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've both performed very, very well in the doubles in the past. It certainly wasn't the James Kelly that we've come to know last night. It was one of his worst performances that we've seen for a long time because he dominated in the majors last season. But these two have previously broken the world record. It's since been taken, but they previously held the world record. They got their third spot in Hamburg, and yeah, you're right. I think he'll be looking for redemption tonight.
There's a lot of excitement in what could be the fight to that first place finish. But for young Charlie Botterill, who's gone and booked his very first Elite 15 ticket to the World Championships on debut, and his partner, Ollie Russell, well, they're excited to take to the floor tonight to see what they can do in this scenario. I spoke to them earlier in the week, after the cricket, of course. Ollie, off the back of Hamburg, what as a partnership have you gone away to work on as we approach Melbourne?
I think for myself, the weaknesses were definitely highlighted on the running. Enjoyed the stations. It's tough trying to keep up with Charlie, who's an exceptional runner at the minute, and obviously the results he's been putting in the solo. So I've had a big focus on just trying to improve my run speed, and hopefully we can showcase that on Saturday.
Looking forward to seeing it. Charlie, this is going to be the first opportunity where you've raced both Elite 15 singles and doubles. Does it change your approach to the doubles at all?
I think we've got our own approach to doubles, like ignoring the singles race before, and I think it's going to probably help us a bit more going into this weekend with a different approach and a different strategy, and hopefully we can go and get the win or the top three.
You two, as a partnership, are also super close friends. You also play a big part in his strength conditioning, like that kind of knowledge that you have of each other. How does that pay off on a Hyrox course?
I think we just know when we can kind of start pushing harder if we need to during the race. If someone's starting to flag, we kind of know it's going to happen before it happens. So we've just got a bit more awareness on that. And yeah, I think that just kind of goes in our favour, hopefully, leading into the race.
Nice work. Can't wait to see you crush it out there. Well, Greg, as we've seen, the warbles have really influenced a huge amount of the results, not just this weekend, but back in Hamburg. Can you take us on a deep dive of what it's doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, every race that we've seen so far this weekend, there's been a huge amount of drama at the warbles. People have lost their qualifying positions, lost the win at this station, and it can come down to the number of no reps that you do and the speed of those reps, and potentially in the doubles as well, how many changeovers you need to do with your partner. And we certainly saw that play out in Hamburg in the men's doubles, where Hidde Wiersma and Thierry Willenberg came into the station in a solid looking third place. It looked like they were going to book their qualifying spot, but ultimately lost it to Jake Dearden and James Kelly because of the number of no reps and the speed of the reps that they did on the station. So we're going to see a graphic come up on the screen here that shows their wall-ball times in Hamburg. So you see James Kelly and Jake Dearden at a 3:13 on the wall-balls, like really solid wall-ball station from them. But Hidde Wiersma and Thierry Willenberg done a 4 minutes, so they lost over 45 seconds at that station alone, which in the doubles is an awful lot amount of time to lose. Now, when we break that down, how did they do that? Why were they so much slower? It comes down to no reps and the pace of their reps. So James Kelly and Jake Dearden only one no rep, whereas Hidde Wiersma and Thierry got 12 no reps, and that can be for the accuracy on the target or the depth of their squat, and then the average pace of those reps. When they were doing their reps, they were 0.1 of a second slower per rep, and that added up to that 47 second difference.
I mean, we are seeing it more and more, like the effect of the penalties and how sport are having to mitigate certain things and what they look for. And of course, movement standards are high up on that list. But given what we have seen at that final station, we had a quick chat with the technical director of the Elite 15, Matt Locke, and this was what he had to say. Matt, when it comes to the warbles, can you talk me through the accuracy of the sensors?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two parts to that answer. Firstly is the actual area of that's been covered, and certainly we do have an elite mode which does require a little bit more accuracy, as would be expected at this level of competition. In the end, the movement standard is the same for everyone. It should be the centre of the target. So then we also have the actual sensor themselves, and they are literally so sensitive we have to desensitize them, because you could blow on them and they would trigger. So they are incredibly accurate.
How does that change from the elite level of the competition down to perhaps the pro or the open and community racing?
Yeah, sure. So community racing or age group racing, it's the same sensor, so the same level of sensitivity. It's just the surface area that's slightly larger for age group racing, and we just tighten it up to make sure it is really centre of target for the elite athletes.
I mean, movement standards comes up all the time as a area of concern. What are you and your judges looking for?
In terms of wall ball?
In terms of wall ball.
Yeah, sure. So with the digital technology now we've got on the targets, that almost takes the judging need away because it's doing the work. So therefore our judges are more able to focus on the squat depth. So A, they're not cleaning the ball when they stand up, which would be a no rep if they did. Squat depth, hip crease below knee, below parallel, whichever language you want to use, it's all in the end the same. And of course completing the correct number of repetitions.
Well, the fight for qualification here in Melbourne is going to be thick and fast. But there are some new faces that we're keeping an eye on in Marco Rončević and Alexia Bernier. A 49.41 in Stuttgart, Greg. They could really push some of the more status quo familiarity that we have with other athletes.
Yeah, you're right. They did. They were in Hamburg. They were in the Elite 15 race in Hamburg. They didn't quite perform to their potential that day. I think they were 9th maybe that day, but they had the fastest qualifying time for this race. To go sub 50 in the men's doubles, they're seriously speeding. I spoke to Alexis earlier, and he just said, "We're ready."
They both live in Switzerland, right? That's the deadpan Swiss in the mode. And what about, you've spoken to Fabi Eisenlauer and Jeremy McConnell, another two who could really turn a screw out there.
The visibly honest couple in Hyrox racing, you know, the white picket, by the book German, and then, you know, we got Jeremy O'Connell, whose personality is only outshone by his teeth. So they're going to bring a show to the track, there's no doubt, and both have that experience, not just among the two, but with other partners. They found each other. Fabian Eisenlauer, who had this incredible open race with Jake Williamson, and together they are a real threat for the qualification here today.
And we have a 19-year-old on course, Luke Ennis. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, a huge amount of excitement around Luke Ennis in this sport. He's a top performer. His potential is huge. He's the youngest qualifier ever for an Elite 15 race. He's been over here for a little while, been training with some top athletes like James Newbury. So I think he'll be excited tonight.
Exciting stuff. We are making a couple of predictions.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Predictions for our top three. Well, it's a tough one. You know, I kind of like had to switch it forth and back, but I'm going with Jake for the win. You know, Jake and oh, apparently
you're not going with Jake for the win. Someone's changed your mind very quickly.
That is very interesting. I doubt that. Apparently I'm going with Charlie and Ollie for the win. Interesting. So now I'm really interested. Who am I going for second? I assume it'll be Jake and Alen then.
Well, Jake and Alen, there's a really...
I'm going Jake and Alen.
Yeah, I was going to say, make a decision.
In second, I'm going Charlie and Ollie. In 3, I'm going Fabi and Jeremy.
Big calls, big calls.
And mine is in a slightly separate order. Mine is Ollie and Charlie for the win, Jake and Alen in second, and then Fabi and Jeremy McConnell in third.
So basically, it's the same top 3 on both, just switched around.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking like. Interesting that none of us is picking the fastest qualifier, but let's see.
Well, I'm going to come in with my version of the hot take, and that is my wild card of the Sutherlands. Those two have been racing very well together. They have that intimate knowledge of being brothers. Now, Till, what about your hot take?
Oh. Well, my hot take is, come Stockholm, Jake Williamson is going to regret picking Alen Ploj as his partner and not Hunter McIntyre.
I'm walking out of studio with that. No. I don't love it, but I understand where you're coming from.
So
but guys,
close.
I'm going to have to shut you right up
Fair.
with that, because the race is about to start, and what a race it's going to be.
All right, Melbourne, help me out with the clap. Final race we got this Melbourne. Here we go, get ready for the final walk-ins of chapter number 2, Road to Stockholm, Down Under, here we go! Up first, Pablo Valverde and Pablo Sanchez out of Spain. Peter Mice and Tom Francis out of Belgium. Introducing Michael Batch and your world champion, Tim Wenisch, out of Germany. Out of the USA, Jared Newby, Hayden Warner. Next up, Luke Ennis and Connor Higgins out of England. Here we go, Kieran Parkinson and Tony Rowell. Nice work, lads, out of England. We've got Sean Noble, Salute, and Ollie, Fricker, Ireland and England. Introducing Eugenio Bianchi out of Italy and New Zealander, Bo Wills. Out of England, we got the Sutherland brothers, Ben and Harry. Next up to the course, Fabian Eisenhower out of Germany and Jeremy McConnell out of Ireland. Make some noise, it's one of your own. Jake Dearden out of England. And your homeboy, James J.K. Kelly. Man of the hour, Charlie Botterill. And his partner, Ollie Russell, out of England. Looking good, Jake Williamson out of England, and Alen Ploj out of Slovenia. Here we go, we got Alex Bernier out of France, and Marko Ničić out of Serbia.
Welcome back, everybody. If you joined us before, and a very warm welcome for everybody joining us for the first time on this weekend here in Melbourne. The final elite race of the weekend. It is time for our men's doubles. My name is Toshek on my sides. Well established now. You're in, Jane. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
And of course, we got Greg with us as always. How excited are we about what's about to go down?
very excited. This lineup is incredibly strong, and there's so little time separating all of these 15 teams here. It's going to be a real race to the finish.
If there's ever been a race that was impossible to predict, this is the one. We're seeing some interesting pairings we haven't seen before. A couple of rookies, the youngest ever Elite 15 athlete, and so much experience and quality, including athletes like James Kelly, who's in for redemption after a less than satisfying race yesterday in front of the Australian home crowds. We got 7 seconds to go. 5, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. It is time to fly here in Melbourne. Our road to Stockholm, Chapter 2, Down Under, is on the way.
I think it will be impossible to miss Jake Williamson tonight.
Yeah, I mean, his pants are basically trying to outshine Jeremy O'Connell's teeth. Let's see, you know, what's brighter in the end if we switch off the light in here in the venue.
Let's hope Jeremy is smiling, because then we will see them.
Oh, absolutely. Is he ever not smiling? I've seen Hunter McIntyre stand, you know, trackside somewhere. I'm pretty sure Jeremy's smiling when he sees him. All right, into that first lap. And if you watched our pre-show, you've seen our predictions. And 2 men that were missing in our predictions is the 2 gentlemen who had taken the front of the race right now. Why did we not pick them? Tell me why.
I'm starting to wonder. They've got the fastest qualifying time for this race. They've gone sub 50. I think the reason we didn't pick them, they didn't quite perform in Hamburg, but they recently won in a race in the age group racing in Stuttgart, set a really good time there. So they're certainly going to be in contention tonight. And you know, Alexis Bernier done some very fast solo times as well in Hyrox, and then his partner there, Marko Nisic, runner for the Serbian national team in the past as well. So the fastest runner in this field, and he looks like he's absolutely cruising at the moment.
Absolutely cruising.
Because we know that Jake Williamson loves that first run, and these 2 are in front of him, setting the pace for him.
Yeah, and the thing that Jake Williamson's got, he's already got his qualifying spot, so he can probably afford to push it a little bit tonight, see what they're capable of as a team time-wise, and risk maybe blowing up a little early. So he probably can risk going out very, very fast here. But you're right, he loves to do that. We've seen it in the doubles, we've seen it in the relays as well. Like when he's done the relay at the World Championships for England, puts in some super fast run times.
Run times are going to matter here today, and as we're in this first run, we get first insight from Lauren.
Thanks, Till. I mean, it's not like you guys won't have noticed it, but Alexis Bernier racing with the water vest. I mean, this is so unusual in our sport, especially one where run times matter and everyone's trying to be as light as they can possibly be. A really interesting move from a relative newcomer at this level of racing.
It makes me think he comes from a trail running background.
I believe he went and got some sweat testing done, and they looked at how much sweat he loses in a race, the amount of electrolytes he loses in a race, and he determined, like, because it was such a high amount, that he needs to take nutrition, like fluids on board during.
And I keep it with a very, very simple rule: if you win, you're right.
It's a great rule. We'll see all of them out there with water vests soon.
Yeah, you just got to do it often enough, right? And then we see them all out there. It's like, well, apparently that's how you win. I mean, we're seeing this more and more, right? I mean, it's not necessarily a hydration vest, but we're seeing people, you know, tucking away bottles or something, carrying them with them, because you all raced. And a lot of our viewers here have raced before, and we all know that feeling of dry mouth in these venues when you go full gas.
And when the racing is so fast and every second counts, in the doubles especially, do you want to stop for water? You know, even if it only takes 1 or 2 seconds to do so, or is it gonna be beneficial to do on the move?
Well, apparently with hydration vest, you're fast enough to almost miss that turn, flying into the ski erg here. Everybody's still really close together, but we're seeing some really interesting doubles racing here today. So, for example, Tim Wenisch, the world champion, racing with Michael Bartsch, a name we've not really heard before.
No, you're right, and Tim already got his qualifying spot. He won in Hamburg with Alexander Rončević, but he raced with Michael Bartsch, stood in because Michael's partner had to pull out at the last minute. I think it was Stuttgart, and then so Tim stood in for him. So yeah, we've not seen him before in an Elite 15 race, but he'll be looking to make his mark this evening.
It's an interesting scenario for Michael Bartsch, who had the goal of the Elite 15, but he had a long-term goal, you know, looking at 2027, and suddenly there you are. You find yourself racing with Tim Wenisch last minute, and whoopsie-daisy, you are into the Elite 15, and we are seeing a yellow card, and I believe it might be 4 heels on the ground, potentially, from Jake there. James Kelly, I think he's James Kelly probably just explaining after double-checking with the referee what happened. And yeah, we're just getting confirmation that he stepped off the skier as he was pulling. That's not allowed. You cannot hit that heel off the platform onto the ground. So I think it's more of an imbalance thing that we've seen today before in the women's race as well.
And the paces they are holding on the ski erg are very low 130s right now. So they are not going slowly at all. And all of them are about sub 135. So pulling very hard, creating all of the power there. Stroke rate very, very high, which is normal for a doubles race.
And it's like we saw at the women's, probably 10 to 15 seconds per 500 metres slower than what we might have seen in the singles last night. They were like 141 upwards last night. So, yeah, probably 10 to 15 seconds slower than what we saw in the singles.
Yep.
It's great to see so many of the doubles here that have come through the ranks, you know, from open racing throughout the years. We're looking at the Belgium double of Mason Fransens, for example, as we're now seeing those timing splits that you mentioned, and a good close-up of the top 3 here coming into the ski erg. What's your take?
It's really hard to tell right now. What I'm trying to actually determine is how long they're spending on here and how much that's actually costing them, because as soon as they change over, the wheel comes to more of a stop, the average kind of blows out, so it takes time, but it's very little in comparison to how much fatigue they're putting through their body, staying on for so long.
It's quite interesting to see really high cadence there in the middle from Fabian Eisenlauer, but he's got this background as a former short-distance triathlete. He's very used to dealing with high heart rate for an extended time, and he's German, he's a very analytical dude, and apparently this is what works for him.
Absolutely, and this is what we're seeing, is different bodies and different approaches can still work. So we can see here Jeremy is a much different build there. I would say he's potentially not utilising his body weight as effectively as possible because he was bending over so far, which means he had to get up so far.
So from here on out, as we're leaving the ski erg, I'm going to hold my breath and I'm going to start breathing again when James Kelly has finished the sled. It's not been his favourite lately.
No, it hasn't at all. Like in Chicago, he really suffered at the sled pull in particular, and then last night it seemed like his race started to come undone at the sleds. But where we've seen him recover in Chicago, seen him recover pretty well in Hamburg, he just couldn't do that last night. He just wasn't on his game last night. So yeah, he'll be looking to put in a performance this evening to try and undo that a little bit.
And speaking of like putting in a performance, something I'm really loving right now is to see Ollie Russell actually leading Charlie Botterill around the track. That is a very different run we're seeing right now compared to what we've seen in Hamburg, as we're seeing another slow motion down here at the ski erg. There's always time to flex, right? 2 very important rules. You're never too busy to flex, and it's never too dark to be cool in this venue. So, you know, you want to stick with that, which brings us to the point, I thought about it again, why we didn't pick Nijik and Bernier, and I think it's because they keep just flying under the radar. They're just not flashy enough.
When they're more posing and sunglasses.
There's no sunglasses, there's no yellow pens, you know, there's no mullet. We got to find something for them.
There's no bike shorts.
There's
no super short, tight shorts.
But look at that, Ollie Russell leading Charlie Botterill around the track right now. That is a very good sign. Let's see how they feel after the sled. But look at Fabian Eisenlauer in the black shirt behind our leaders here, bringing the triathlon running legs. I mean, we've all seen Jeremy McConnell is a fantastic runner, right? But he is suffering right now under that pace from Fabian Eisenlauer.
And we're seeing quite a gap with JK and Jake, which makes me think that JK is going to start those sleds, even though it might not be his favourite station.
Yeah, no, straight in, absolutely. How is it? How do they say if you fall off a horse, you got to get straight back on it?
If the sled doesn't move, try harder.
Try harder. Well, that's great advice, Jake.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Write that one down.
One reason these two have maybe gone under the radar a little bit is because of their solo races. So Marko Nikic, we haven't really seen him in a pro singles race. We've seen him in the Open, and I think he's done 57 minutes in the Open. Alexis Bernier does do pro. You know, I think he's maybe got 57, 58 minutes to his name, maybe quicker. But I think it's because they're not as established names on the solo side of things that they're flying under the radar as the doubles. But I think the future of this sport is we see more specialisation in the doubles, so this could be a sign of that.
And watching Marco's composure on the running, he is so comfortable out there.
Yeah.
That's what even their run isn't flashy. They're hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. There's no drama about them.
There's no drama. They're just here to execute. That's all that's happening.
And let's see how they go at the sleds.
You know, I can't wait for Charlie Botterill and Ollie Russell to be right up there, hopefully halfway through the race, because that's when we're going to see Charlie Botterill like on the run, cheer on the crowds, you know, getting them ready to celebrate our athletes the way they deserve it in here. Quick transition there between James Kelly and Jake Dearden.
And JK had no trouble with the sleds there. And we can see Alen moving that sled. He opted to do a full length there. So they've made up a lot of time, him and Jake here.
Yeah, Jake and Alen have taken the lead here. Incredible push.
Oh, absolutely incredible push. Definitely look a lot more fluent right now than Nikic and Bernier beforehand. And something we've seen in the women's race, and I'm really excited to see that as we approach burpees and the workouts following that, is it really looks like between Chicago and Hamburg, the women have learned a lot in terms of avoiding penalties, avoiding warnings. A super clean race, very few warnings, not a single penalty, I believe, in the women's doubles race. Let's see how this unfolds in the men's race here. But what a push here from Jake Williamson and Alen Ploj. Headed out, done and dusted. They'll be first out onto the run. A couple of seconds, and look at that, Ollie Fricker and Sean Noble coming in third.
Oh, and Charlie Botterill.
Charlie Botterill's like, got no time. Got no time. He's literally going on the outside in a turn to make sure he is staying with that front pack. It was so great to talk to Ollie after that Hamburg race. You know, I got a lot of heat for the Brits for dissing him a little bit, but he was like, mate, I was worried that Charlie's going to break his neck in the race. That's how much he had to turn around. Yeah, that was an odd one. First lane of, of Jeremy and Fabian. Jeremy forgot that he needs to take the sled with him when he runs back to the other side. He's like, man, that sled is like, oh, I'm not pushing it.
I think what happened is Jeremy hadn't fully pushed it across the line, so he thought he was done, but Fabian had to push it across the line for him, and then there was a mix-up. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. I mean, we've seen Melanie Maurer and Jennifer Niklas in Hamburg, you know, miss one lane, but Jeremy was close to missing 3 lanes here.
And I hope that does not come back to bite them when we get to the wall balls.
Don't get me started on those wall balls. I mean, like, look at that sled push. That's incredible, actually. That is very, very close race and pushing in that top 8. Only 12 seconds between the fastest time and the 8th time we're seeing here.
Yeah, super close at the moment, and that's what we expected from this race. Not a lot to give between any of these teams. 8 teams leaving within 12 seconds of each other.
Jenny, have you gotten a call from Sean Noble after yesterday's singles race yet?
No.
No, he's literally asked for your number. He's like, I'm ready to take this beast head on. I'm going to improve on my skier and my row, and I'm going to punch that ticket to the World Championship. That's what he said yesterday. He said, connect me to Jane.
That is amazing. Well, I can easily take off an immeasurable amount of effort. I like to keep results subjective.
Yes. What a race at the front that we're seeing here. Ollie Fricker, Sean Noble. We're seeing Rončević and Bern Yeh. And then Jake Williamson, Alen, Ploj. Jake Williamson, I mean, he's somewhat of the perfect doubles partner, right? He can almost pick anybody out there and they would want to race with him. So it's interesting to see him opt for Alen again. He, on paper, looking at the individuals, is not the strongest potential partner yet. He's got an incredible development lately. But I mean, you know, Jake and Hunter is all I'm saying. Jake, on his worst day, almost broke the world record recently with Hunter. They'd be a wild pairing as well.
Absolutely. I actually can't wait to see them race together again, because I know that Jake wasn't well the day that they almost broke that world record. So seeing them out there, and Jake is the perfect doubles partner. He will not let anybody down. He will send it the whole way.
Sean Noble really pushing the run here. He's looking around for his partner, Ollie Fricker. They came out of the sled pushing it in a good position, but he's really looking good on this run at the moment. Ollie could be in for a long evening.
He does not look quite as bouncy right now.
Ollie not been here in the country too long either. I was speaking to him last Saturday, I think it was, at the London event, and he was travelling a few days later. So yeah, he's not been over here that long.
Something we're seeing here is in between each pool, the athletes are opting to drop it, which is the opposite of what we saw in the female race. A lot of them will hang on to it, create this bow and arrow arm, and they neatly put it in a pile. What we're seeing from these men is a lot faster transition, dropping it straight back up, off they go again.
Well, Alex Rončević, who is the world record holder, would say they're all doing it wrong. No, it's literally, he's brought out a Hyrox training course, and one of his things is you always keep tension on the road.
And his sled pull is like art. It's like watching art unfold. The way he neatly pulls it back and then reaches back out. It's just...
And dare I say, if you hold the world record, you're right.
He's right. I also love when he makes a little video of how to get better at the sled pull. Go to the gym. Everyone's like waiting with bated breath, like what's this going to be? And it's get to the gym.
It's a bit like your try harder.
Yeah, you want to get better, try harder.
Yeah. I feel like with Jane on board, we got to bring out all the goldies and oldies here. You know, like.
Oh, a yellow card there for Sean and Ollie.
And that has to be from stepping over the front line.
It's difficult to see from this angle here. It's fascinating. We had it in one of the recent races where our VAR was going on with our head referees like, hey, look at that. That should be a warning. And the head ref's like, I'm standing right next to him. It's different when you're like up close. The camera angle is always a little bit different. And that's why we got those experienced judges down there making sure everything is in order.
And again, Jake and Alen have done so well on these sleds. They're leading the sled pull now, I would say.
Yeah, they're leading. They pass Sean and Ollie here, moving really well through these.
And transitioning really well. That's something I'm noticing with a lot of the doubles partners. When they're transitioning, they're almost colliding, and I'm noticing a couple of them drop the rope.
The rope's in the way.
In the way.
Yeah,
just having some consideration.
Jake Williamson's got pink gloves on in case we were going to miss him.
Just in case.
Where is Jake? Can anybody see him? The shoes, the shorts, the gloves.
I hate to say it, but Jake, mate, those colours clash a little bit.
In horse racing, they have fashions on the field for the people watching, and I'm pretty sure Jake has shown up for fashions on the field tonight.
Charlie and Ollie have made a move here as well. They're coming out the sled pull in second position. Really impressive time for them on the sled pull.
But they're surrounded by Ollie Fricker, Sean Noble, James Kelly, Jake Dearden. I mean, wow.
And Marco is so dangerous on the run. What we're seeing from him is he just gets into a very comfortable stride, and I think Alexi is trying to just stay with him. Yeah. That is the strategy now.
Yeah, Alexis is certainly going to be the stronger on the stations out of the two of them, but yeah, Marco on the runs.
And that is so challenging in a doubles pairing, because if you have one person who's stronger at running and one person that's stronger at stations,
Yeah, that's where you really need communication and decide who starts, who finishes the station.
Interesting to see now after what we've seen at the station before is now that Ollie Fricker is actually running ahead of Sean Noble suddenly.
So you can see Charlie Botterill and Ollie Russell 2:21 on the sled pull there. They had the fastest time on that station. Luke Ennis and Connor Higgins, for example, losing 31 seconds to them now. And Marko Ničić and Alexis Bernier actually losing 20 seconds to Ollie and Charlie. That's quite a chunk of time.
Oh, and Jeremy McConnell on the run now, seriously dropping back from Fabian Eisenlauer. He is not on his best day here, the Irishman, right now. He's dropping off that group that's led by Fabian Eisenlauer around the run track. That includes Michael Bartsch, Tim Wenisch, Bo Wills and Eugenio, with a fantastic race here as well. And Jeremy McConnell absolutely pumping right now.
And Greg, can you tell me what actual run pace they're holding right now?
I think they're around a 3:10, 3:15 pace is my guess.
Casually.
So we've got a head-to-head up on the screen there of Ollie Fricker and Sean Noble with Marko Ničić and Alexis Bernier. So we can see where the times are different by the stations. And not a lot to give on the skier, 4 seconds between them. Then on the runs, on that first run in particular, Ollie and Sean losing 8 seconds, but on the sled push, and then the sled pull, not much there, but the sled push, 8 seconds difference. So not a lot between them on any of the stations at the moment, but it can start to add up over the course of the race.
I can see the judges now getting ready for their favourite station to judge, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Waiting with bated breath and hoping that everyone has a 2-foot takeoff that is perfectly in line.
I'm pretty sure if you would put a questionnaire out there amongst Hyrox athletes around the world, which station would you love to see taken out of this sport? The burpees would win over the wall balls.
And I have a suggestion for what they could replace it with.
More ergs.
Concept 2 bike erg.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised that's coming from you?
Seriously, how great would that be? All the burpee fans are like, no, don't bring in another erg.
Are there burpee fans? Are there burpee fans?
I've met a couple. I feel like Jade Skillen, she was like exuding joy in the women's race. I could like feel her energy.
All right, we're coming into the next workout, the burpees. It is burpee time, and we got Jake Williamson, Alen, Ploj leading, James Kelly, but James, man, James, I love you.
I actually think the fastest he moves in all of Hyrox is right into the station and right out of the station.
But it's like the precision of how he hammers into this station and onto the ground is just incredible. Wow.
Absolutely, and I'm going to be an eagle eye to watch these changeovers to see that people aren't double burping. So everybody watching this, make sure you don't double burpee.
Alen Ploj has got a yellow card there as a warning.
And it was a staggered takeoff, so his second foot came in front, and which does actually give you a slight advantage. Your momentum then continues forward, so...
Yeah, people always go like, oh, is it really an advantage? And it really is. If you look at parkour runners, free running, if they go in for the jump of things, it's always a staggered because it's got that acceleration. It just pushes you further. And that's why we've got the parallel foot here, the rule for everybody. No staggered feet.
Sorry.
It's just a tricky one, right? If you get that yellow card so early into a workout, it kind of like makes you rethink what you're doing.
Absolutely, you'd be so conservative with everything that you're doing. Like you're overthinking it then, your energy that's going into thinking about it, you wouldn't be jumping as far, you wouldn't be as explosive. It would absolutely hold you back.
But look at what's happening right now. So Alexis Bernier and Marko Ničić right now, they are dropping just a little bit off the pace now at the burpees compared to the other doubles that we're seeing there.
Yeah, just 38 seconds though separating the top 10 coming into this station. And we should say as well that the first two teams coming in Jake Williamson, Alen, Ploj, Jake Dearden and James Kelly, they've already booked their spots for Stockholm. They got their qualifying spots in Hamburg. So as it stands, with 3 positions, it's going to roll down to 5th.
Yellow card down there for James Kelly, but they're headed out. It looks like Mayhem are looking at the grid here, but I think Lauren might be able to bring a little bit of clarity of what's happened down there at the Burpees.
Unfortunately, not till, I'm afraid. They're so fast out. But what I did do was speak to Jade Skillen off the back of her race, and she said she normally opts for the step up. Because of the increase in penalties we're seeing on this station, she completely changed her tactic to the full jump. It slowed her down a little bit, or at least spiked her heart rate a lot, but it meant she was completely safe.
That was something I was expecting to see in the men's race as well. I was expecting, because that's a lot safer, right? But we didn't see many of them opting for that.
I believe, sorry to interrupt, I believe we got a red card for Rončević and Bernier.
Oh, that could be the whole race right there.
We'll try to confirm that as soon as the burpees are cleared. We're going to have a word with the head referee, but I believe we've got a red card.
So that would be a 15-second penalty for them.
So they'll be held in the cage under the wall balls for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
What a nightmare. How much does that play into your head for the rest of the race? Does it give you more fire?
It has to. You got to risk more. There's no doubt. You got to open up that gap. There is no other way. And I don't know how you. Well, Greg, I'm just going to ask you how you see it instead of saying I don't know how you see it. It'll be very hard looking at some of our doubles for them to claw back any time at the wall balls.
You say that, but we've had so much drama at the wall balls in all the races so far this weekend, and in Hamburg in the men's doubles last time. Like I spoke in the pre-show about Hidde Wiersma and Thierry Willenberg losing 47 seconds to James Kelly and Jake Dearden at the wall balls. So there is time to be made up there for sure. 15-second penalty doesn't rule you out by any means, and we saw that with Gabby Moriarty and Zara Piergiani. Got a 60-second penalty and still managed to put their spot.
I'm going to get back to that in a second, but I want to pick up on what we're seeing here with Jake Dearden right now. He's got running legs on the day here, and it's interesting. I don't think I've seen a doubles race that was as uneven within the doubles as we're having it here. We've seen like Ollie and Charlie, for example, with a little bit of a gap in Hamburg, right? But now we're seeing Jeremy drop off the pace of Fabians. We're seeing Ollie Fricker drop off the pace of what Sean Noble is doing here. James Kelly dropping off the pace of what his partner Jake Dearden is doing. The whole trail and everything doesn't seem to impact just the internationals, but the Australians as well.
You're right. And you know, it's funny. Only a couple of minutes ago, I nearly said, "Oh, this is the James Kelly that we know." Like he came tearing into the burpee board jump station and looked really, really strong.
And he was so strong in the burpees.
But he's come out and he looks like he's really suffering on this run.
Absolutely, and did the intensity he went into the burpees with cost him this. But Jake Dearden is having an absolutely beautiful solo run out there.
Yeah, it looks really good.
But when Greg just refused to give predictions for the wall balls, that was my cue to say, everybody, if you've missed our singles races or the women's doubles, that is the cue to rewatch it. It's been so dramatic and so close that even our numbers guy doesn't dare do predictions anymore.
No, I'm absolutely terrified too, because I think there's 13 teams within 51 seconds of each other right now, which is nothing.
And I'm excited to see Jake Dearden head into this workout first, because Lauren has some insight on the man himself.
Yeah, it was only yesterday I was speaking to his coach, Jonathan Buller, and right now Jake is in the middle of a massive marathon training prep. So arguably, this style of running isn't really meant to be suiting him at the moment, but maybe a little bit of fire in his belly after yesterday's race, which he performed very well in, but now he's got an opportunity to take gold, and, you know, it's showing that he really wants it.
Oh, and I love what I've just seen there. You know, a quick high five from James Kelly for Ollie Fricker. There's always time for that. That just shows how much appreciation there is for each other, for the performance of the other athletes. And great communication we're seeing between James Kelly and Jake Dearden all the way through the stations. It started after that warning at the ski erg already. And communication is so important, isn't it, Jane?
Absolutely. And what we're seeing as well is Jake Dearden opted to tighten his straps just a little bit. He's a lot more calm on the roll right now. He's maybe just actually, well, he wasn't a moment ago. He's actually faster than the others right now with a slower stroke rate. So his pace is actually the best. He's opted to stay on for a lot longer. He's tightened the straps, which I am a massive advocate for. And I want to point out why. If we have a little look across here with next to him, we've got Ollie. Ollie is next to him and his feet are flying around everywhere. And what that is doing, it means he's losing connection with the rower on each stroke, which means he's using so much more energy through his hip flexors and his back to stabilize himself on the rower right now. Whereas JK's also doing the same thing as Jake Dearden. They've both planted their feet and tightened the straps, and I think that's going to pay dividends later in the race as well.
You know, you can't do it right for Jane. It's like Ollie's feet too much, you know, Tim Wenisch's feet not enough.
I would really like to celebrate somebody right now, though. Jake Williamson is rowing absolutely magnificently. I would almost put him in a boat right now.
Perfect. We got 1 out of 8 now in Jane's boat. Perfect. Let's find some more.
I think I said Jake Dearden was doing it well too.
True, too. There we go.
Just the Jake show right now. But the pace these men are holding is it's absolutely fantastic. They are really, really holding a great, strong, low pace. I would love to see some changes in their technique. I would love to draw attention to how rounded their back is and how much it would make a huge, huge difference if they learned to sit in a slightly different position so they could activate their glutes. And we've got a yellow card, and I actually think Sean Noble grabbed the handle before he put his feet in.
Okay.
I think that's what happened there on that rower, which is you can't get a penalty doing that because, you know, we've talked about does it give you an advantage. That absolutely doesn't give you an advantage. You're not going anywhere.
No. It's just not worth the risk, is it?
No. Yeah, there's no benefit. You're not going to get away with it. It's really obvious. And it does. It costs you. Like, Sean is actually rowing more slowly now. It looks like he's being more conservative. Maybe he's just really tired.
And his feet are doing what you don't want the feet to do.
They're a seesaw. So those of you watching this right now, when we row, we want to apply force through our feet, okay? So we want it to be a full body movement. We want to use our body weight to generate force into the flywheel. And he's just losing that on every single stroke. He's just kind of moving back and forward right now. Oh, Sean's the one that wanted to speak to me.
It would have been a miracle if he changed anything from yesterday. Let's be honest about it. Jake Williamson and Alen Ploj out first. We got JK in the mix who, you know, he is on today. Now he's getting all chatty with Jake Williamson there. It looks like JK is really having a good time on the day here. And he saw on that run before, hold on a second, Jake Dearden, my teammate, is really feeling his run today. Let's go to the front, let's do this.
And maybe he just took in some nutrition, because that's a different JK than
he's going through a mixture of emotions, isn't he?
But look at how the tables are turning. We now got Ollie Fricker way ahead of Sean Noble. We got Ollie Russell still leading Charlie Botterill around the track. Charlie having way too much fun. Time to quickly wave.
Is it still? Am I still not allowed to adopt him?
You're still not allowed to adopt him, but I feel like if somebody would ask him for an autograph, he would stop right now.
Seriously,
yeah.
he's
sure.
So,
I got time.
What a great guy! But all of them genuinely look like they're actually enjoying it when they're running around. And how could you not?
Isn't that the greatest thing about, you know, doubles and everything? To see how much fun they're having out there together.
And we talked about it in relation to JK, the roller coaster of emotions. Sorry, Greg.
Heads come up between two of the teams chasing the qualifying spots there. So Ollie and Charlie up against Ollie and Sean Noble. So we can see where the times are being gained or lost on each of the stations. And not a lot to give between either of them. There's 5 seconds there on the burpee board jumps. On the sled pool is where Ollie and Charlie really made a big move. 23 seconds against Ollie and Sean there. So that's probably the standout station. If Ollie and Charlie do book their spot tonight, they've got the sled pool to thank for that in no uncertain terms.
Just looking, you know, at Ollie and Charlie, and they're having so much fun together. I feel like we need to find a good, like, Hollywood-style nickname for them. I mean, I'm going to ask the audience out there, you know, send in your submissions. I don't know what we're going with. If we're going with Botterill or Scholly, or I don't know, you send in your suggestions and we'll make it stick for the future.
I'm really liking Botterill.
Botterill is good, isn't it?
It kind of sounds potentially like he's German.
It's a Botterill.
Yeah.
What an incredible wide open race that we're seeing here. And I mean, you know, just look at the time gaps that we're talking. 27 seconds between first and seventh, or if you count the penalty in, it's 31 seconds. It is too close to call in any way. And I think this is a good moment, quickly, to take us through the scenario, not just of the top 3, but qualifying.
Yeah, against the qualifying spots, there's 3 up for grabs, and that can potentially roll down as far as 5th tonight, because there are 2 teams racing tonight that have already booked their spot. As it stands, that's the teams in the 1st and 2nd positions. So Jake Williamson, Alen, Ploj, Jake Dearden, James Kelly, they've already booked their spots. So it would go as it stood. If they finish 1st and 2nd, it would go 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And there's not a lot between those teams. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Certainly well within a shout there.
And this is where the 15 seconds for Bernier and Nijik might just break their neck.
Absolutely, and with lunges and wall balls still to come, and sure, they are better runners, right? They're better at the running than on the stations, and there's a lot big stations coming up for them, so maybe your predictions were right, leaving them out.
All right, here we go into the Farmers Carry, and I can tell you right now, looking at the Farmers Carry, James Kelly is looking a hell of a lot better than he did yesterday in the race at the Farmers Carry. So he really is on fire, but I mean, Sean Noble, Ollie Fricker right there, and Sean Noble is like, and that's where he made his move in the individuals yesterday. Yeah, putting a super fast time yesterday. We referred to him as the Sinead Bent on the men's side, didn't we? But yeah, he did a 1:10 on his own yesterday. It was super fast. So yeah, and he's handed over here. But yeah, they've made a move there.
Something I want to draw attention to is we see a lot of people wondering if swinging the kettlebells forward and back will actually help you move forward. And the answer is definitively no. It will help bring you forward and backwards. So what we're seeing from all of these athletes right now is they're not doing any of that. They're just holding strong and moving forward.
I love it. Whoever asked that question, I'm like, what? Where were you when physics were on in school?
Right, I know. Yeah. The answer is it's just
you skipped the wrong classes.
Remember that
day? Could have been philosophy or something, not physics.
Look at the time they made up here, though. They come into this station 13 seconds behind. And that's just changed, as I said, it to 4 seconds, but they've already gained a lot of time now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I really enjoy seeing Charlie Botterill and Ollie Russell here today, but then, you know, you got Jake and Alen there in the mix as well. I mean, what a race this is going to be down to the wire. Let's not forget the Belgians. No. You know, the consistency they bring to the racing is impressive, and we still got 2 stations to go.
And it's got to be said with Tom Francis and Peter Mays, they both also raced in London last weekend as well. So, you know, we wondered if the Van den Lindenloofs maybe suffered as a result of racing in London and travelling over here so late. But Tom and Peter both did the same, and they're doing well tonight.
It's a very used day for Fabian Eisenlau and Jeremy McConnell as it stands right now. Not getting any points for that prediction today.
No.
But we have seen everything happen in the last 2 days on the wall balls. So I'm just not putting anyone out of this right now.
Another partnership we've not mentioned yet really is Bo Wills and Eugenio Bianchi. They've really probably moved themselves into a qualifying position at the moment when you take into account Alexis Bernier's the 15-second penalty that they've got. So they're well within it. And we've seen in the singles races just how good Bo Wills in particular is at the wall ball. So we know they can put in a good time now.
And let's be very honest here. Even if Michael Bartsch and Tim Wenisch would pass them, I'm going with the assumption here that Tim Wenisch will opt for Alex Rončević for the World Championship and not Michael Bartsch.
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe assumption.
Yeah. I don't feel particularly brave putting that out there.
What a move that is from Sean Noble, though, and Ollie Fricker. Just at the farmers' carries, they've suddenly put themselves in first position on a station where you don't typically gain a lot of time.
And the greatest news for Sean Noble is there's no more ergs left.
He's going to become an erg champion.
Oh, he is.
Watch this
Honestly, no, I kid you not. He's gone full-time now, right? He's got 4 more working days left, and then he's going full-time. He's serious about, like, and he is asking for help. He wants to be the best possible version, the best possible athlete he can be, and he does what needs to be done to get there.
Isn't it incredible that there is that opportunity now in this sport?
Oh, absolutely. It's fantastic.
Next station coming up, sandbag lunges. It's worth keeping an eye on Ollie Russell. So you talked in Hamburg too about, you know, maybe Ollie needs to, Ollie can't keep up on the running as well as Charlie is, but he brings a lot to the stations, and in particular, sandbag lunges is his thing. And they both part of a team that went for the men's relay world record in Madrid. They didn't quite get it, but I know Ollie on that day done a 1:38, I think it was, on the 100-metre sandbag lunges, so he could really move through that with incredible time.
It is absolutely unbelievable. And I tell you right now, I had two options for the hot take. One was the Jake Williamson and who his partner's going to be. My other hot take option was Ollie Russell is going to prove today that I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. And I think this is just about what's going down right there. It was very funny after that Hamburg race. I got so much heat from the Brits, and the only Brit who thought it was funny was actually Ollie. But look at that, we're headed into the second last station, and there is a man. The Australians know. We've got James Kelly, and he is pushing Ollie Fricker. He's like, mate, make some space. Sorry about this, but I'm a little faster than you into the station here. But do you see how he's apologizing?
That was really nice.
You gotta love James Kelly.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's like, mate, no offense. Didn't mean to push you, had no choice. I was just faster.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
And I feel like this is something you'll learn very quickly as Ollie Fricker. 2 more races in, you know, when it comes to getting into the stations, move out of the way of James Kelly.
Just get out of the way. It's like when people don't walk on escalators. You just got to move to the side.
It's literally James Kelly gets into workout stations and around turns like he's been watching too much Formula 1.
Yeah, he's like zoom, zoom around everybody.
It's crazy.
Ollie Russell has been watching Formula 1 too.
Yeah, yes, but yellow card for Ollie Fricker.
And a yellow card for James Kelly as well, I think, at the same time. Presumably not getting full extension at the top of the lunge.
And a whole extra lunge there for Alexei.
I believe, from what I've seen here, the angle it looked like the foot was over the line, but the knee didn't come down.
He didn't touch the ground.
I think that's what happened there. And interesting to see Jake Dearden. Look, if he does it again, not anymore. When he doesn't do the middle step, it's almost like his feet are moving like he's stepping over something. It's like with Joanna, I'm not kidding. With Joanna, you've seen that slide along, right?
Yeah.
And Jake is literally like there's something in the way. He's like stepping over an invisible something.
I'm watching him now. Oh, yeah. He's very measured on these lunges.
Oh, but look at that. James Kelly just a little bit ahead of Ollie Fricker. Ollie Fricker trying to push as hard as he can with Sean Noble, but they've got that yellow card, and it looks like Lauren got some insight from down on the floor.
Just a little note on Ollie Russell, actually. One of the big races that he had was off the back of that struggle in Hamburg was the men's relay. He laid down a 1:38 on the sandbag lunge. This is his station for the taking, and he is flying alongside Charlie Botterill.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at it right now, look, James Kelly having another conversation there with the Hedger. He's very verbal today.
Yeah, a yellow card there showing to Charlie Botterill, actually, I just saw as well. But I think they've caught the other teams here at the moment. Yeah, they're going to be first out.
Look at that grin on Ollie Russell's face. Oh, incredible. Ollie Russell, Charlie Botterill out first. James Kelly, Jake Dearden close behind. Sean Noble, Ollie Fricker. Here we go. Jake Williamson and Alen Ploj. Who is going to be the next chaser? They open up a little gap, then it's the Belgians. The Belgian boys are back. They're doing their thing again. Sneaky, aren't they? Always in the last couple of stations. They're always hiding. And then we got Eugenio Bianchi, Bo Wills, Rončević on Alex's burn. Yeah, shoulder to shoulder headed out there as well. But it's looking real good right now for Ollie Russell, who is His running is incredible today, absolutely, and he's smashing it on this last lap here. Charlie's still sitting behind him. JK trying to go past. Jake can't quite hold the pace. I think the marathon legs are kicking in right now. But so close up there, and then Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker. They have a sizable lead now on the chasers.
Tom Franson's looked like he was enjoying himself there on the lunges.
And I wonder how Charlie Botterill's feeling coming into wall balls when that was where all of his dreams were made. He's looking forward to them.
Ollie looks like he's hurting here on this run. And this is, you can really dig deep on this run, especially in the doubles, because the wall balls is a totally different beast in the singles to doubles, because you've got your partner to hand over to. You can really send it on this run, and even if your partner only does 10 reps, that little rest that you get can make a huge difference.
Absolutely, and we saw that in the women. Jess Petro got to have a rest of 50 reps. Joanna came straight in from that last run, pulled out 50 reps, and Jess Petro's cadence on those wall balls was insane.
Look at JK pushing the pace on this run right now. Jake Dearden responding to his partner as he is flying around the track. Is this going to be JK's new thing? Let's have a bet singles and an incredible doubles afterwards. I'm pretty sure he'd be keen on flipping the rolls.
And his mood is here tonight too. He wants to talk to people. He's having a great time.
But, you know, again, that's something you got to appreciate about him. Yesterday was a horrendous race. I'm just going to, you know, call it as it is. But it doesn't faze him at all. He bounces back. He is so experienced. He knows the potential that is within him. And, you know, sometimes you have an off day and then you shake it off, you come back, and look at the way they're pushing the pace right now. They are doing what needs to be done to have a shot at the overall win. You're not just taking...
Less than a minute separating those top 9 teams, though. 2 of those teams have already booked a spot at the World Championships. 3 qualifying spots up for grabs in less than a minute between 9 teams there.
How many no reps do you predict?
Yeah, I'm out of this one. After what we've seen in the past 3 races right here, anything is possible. I mean, it could end up being JK and Jake Dearden ending up last. That's how dramatic the last 3 races have been that we've seen here. It's not going to happen on the day. I think they are on a mission, and I think looking at their ability and their experience as they're coming in towards the wall balls, I love Ollie and Charlie, but it'll be very hard to be faster at the wall balls than JK.
Yeah,
and Jake.
Going back to Hamburg, like we saw in the pre-show, they only got 1 no rep between the 2 of them in Hamburg, and their rep speed was very good as well. I think it was 1.74 seconds per rep that they were doing, so they had a good speed rep. So yeah,
we've seen that little tap on the leg.
So we're not seeing Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker come in. We think they might have done an extra lap, and yet we can see them running in the opposite direction on the lap now. I think they've realised. And now they're coming. Oh, wow, what a huge mistake.
Goodness, what a huge mistake from Ollie Fricker and Sean Noble. They set themselves so nicely.
And they've come in at the same time as Tim Wenisch now.
For a second there, I thought we might get around the drama, but we are lots.
And
they went into an extra lap. They turned around afterwards, and they might just have thrown away that ticket to the World Championship.
We can't forget about the 15-second penalty.
For Alexis Bernard and Marco Rončević.
Yeah, but now, I mean,
they're not in yet, I don't think.
We got Franson and Mask in there now, the Belgians. They've no rep the 4th time now, the 5th time now. I cannot believe what we've just seen. I can't believe the drama continues throughout all 4 races here in a way we've never seen it before in Hyrox major racing. Halfway through for Jake Dearden and James Kelly. Charlie and Ollie, 6 no reps by now as well, not too far off the pace. Let's not forget, you know, we've got Jake and Alen sitting there in 3rd.
And there's a 15-second penalty showing there for Bo Wills and Eugenio Bianchi. I'm not sure where they picked that up, but the graphic's showing 15 seconds there, and that could play a huge role in this.
Yeah, that penalty has now moved to Nietzsche and Bernier. So the way we've seen it out there in the race. So, Greg, take us through it again, just for the viewers, before it's getting really exciting here. Who's qualified already?
So, Jake Dearden and James Kelly have already qualified. They're in first position at the moment. They're 10 reps ahead, and they look like they could take the win. And then Jake Williamson and Alen Ploj have the other qualifying spot. So, we're looking at the moment Ollie Russell, Charlie Botterill in the first qualifying position. Then the Belgian lads, Peter Mays, Tom Fransons, they're on 56 reps. The second qualifying position, and then it's very, very close for that third spot.
I mean, it looks like with that 15-second penalty that Bo Wills and Eugenio Bianchi might be ahead of Rončević and Bernier. And then you look at Ollie Fricker and Sean Noble, only 3 wall balls down from Bo Wills and Eugenio Bianchi. If this is how it ends up, they have thrown the World Championship qualification out the window with open hands, as we see an incredible comeback here in Melbourne by Australia's very own James Kelly. Once again, we're seeing redemption with his partner Jake Dearden taking the win at the second major of the season. We're seeing Charlie look around here. He knows it's just a few more wall balls, and despite 12 no reps, here we go. Ollie Russell and Charlie Botterill. And I mean, Ollie Russell showed up here today.
That performance on the lunges was an absolute match winner.
And we got Jake and Alen through as well. And we're getting ready. Final wall balls here for the Belgians as well. And what a drama. What a drama it's going to be. You can tell right now. Both for Rončević and Bernier, as well as for Fricker and Noble. Tim Wenisch and Michael Bart's doing real well there as well. We got Mass and Fransons across the line. And who's winning the sprint? Is it the Germans? It's the Germans. Tim Wenisch. Tim Wenisch just put himself in a situation where he gets to pick who he wants to go to the World Championship with.
And then was it Jeremy Coral and Fabio Eisenlauer came in just behind them, so presumably if Tim decides he doesn't want to race with Michael, then it would roll down to
I want to see confirmation on that, because it looked like they had a horrendous race. It might have been Bo and Eugenio, but suddenly there was Jeremy and Fabian as well in that sprint. We didn't have a camera. Bo is asking, was it us or was it not us? He doesn't know yet. And so we're just waiting for confirmation of those final results.
Sub 50 minutes of James Kelly and Jake Dearden. A really impressive performance for them. Like JK didn't perform last night. We touched on that. He didn't look great coming out the burpees, did he? But other points in the race, he looked like the old JK that we've come to know.
We got Jeremy and Bo Wills arguing at the finish line. They're trying to figure out who was. It's literally, by now, this is Jeremy McConnell's signature move. Is like the finger, I think he can't even help it. That finger is just, it's got a life of its own. You see it at every single race. I think they don't know yet who's qualified. That might have been a call as close as what we've seen in the women's race.
And I think Sean Noble and Ollie Fricker are going to seriously regret running that extra half a lap that they did, because that cost them a huge amount of time.
Absolutely.
We saw that in Hamburg, actually. 4 teams ran an extra lap, and it was all on run 7, actually. Like, so later in the race, these mistakes can happen.
I love you, Storm.
And it changed everything.
Yeah. A lot of confusion at the moment. So are these the results coming up? So
right now, the results say that Jeremy and Fabian are ahead of Bo Wills and Eugenio Bianchi by less than a second. It does look like the same we've seen it in the women's race. It is coming down to that sprint to the finish line. And the final spot might be decided by less than a second. And you know what? I'm not going to call it until we got official confirmation here. While we wait for that, while we look at the pictures of the finish line here, I'm going to go ahead and have an early summary from the both of you about what we've just seen here. Jane, what's your take on the race?
I actually am not coping very well right now, I'm not going to lie. I think that the drama at the Warbles is a curse. It's a Melbourne curse. It's like what we saw in Hamburg was the curse was penalties.
Yeah.
And Melbourne seems to be, it's absolutely not over until it's over. Like it's, you have to wait until you've hit 100 Warbles and then you get through the finish line as fast as possible.
Bragging rights for our men's doubles now are they officially fried Jane's hard drive. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, really, fantastic racing. Like the quality of these racing is incredible these days. But you're right. There's so much drama happening at the Warbles, and it is coming down. We spoke before Hamburg actually about how clean reps is going to be important, and the speed of reps is going to be so important this season with the standard of the competition that we're getting.
Sorry, I just felt a bit blinded. Hard to see. Jeremy was just smiling.
I think we have determined that his teeth are in fact brighter than Jake Williamson's
shorts, right? We've got the proof here, absolutely. And he is a fist pumping. It looks like indeed Fabi Eisenlauer and Jeremy McConnell might have taken that final spot here. But let's talk to our winners first.
Thanks, Till. Yeah, I think the positive response behind me would suggest that Jeremy McConnell and Fabi Eisenlauer have done the job. But oh my gosh, Jake, especially for you, James, off the back of yesterday, that must have been such a tough night. To come back with this kind of response, how proud are you of what you were able to achieve together?
Well, Hyrox is an interesting sport, right? You can have the lowest of lows and then 24 hours later be on top of the world. I wouldn't be here without him, though. I was contemplating not racing this morning.
Hey, Peter, don't worry about it. There's a camera there.
He's a part of the story as well. But give kudos to Jakey boy this morning. He got me up and about again, and you know, put on the dancing shoes tonight with me, and we went all out. So it's fantastic.
Amazing. What did you say to him?
This morning, I said I've been there, especially after Hamburg. I've been there. Like, you're probably feeling as low as you could be this morning. And I just said, what's the worst that could happen? We have a bad race, you still feel like this, or you have a chance to redeem yourself. And that's exactly what I did. Like, today I saw someone different who I was racing with. Like, I knew, obviously, he's one of the best athletes in this game, but like, he came out with some fire today, and it was just insane. I was just chasing him around that course. I couldn't catch him. He was on fire, and it just shows what a bit of, I think, determination and pressure can do.
You guys are awesome. Congratulations. Thank you, Lauren. I knew that was coming.
Sweaty hack, there you go. Absolutely incredible racing. And the arguments are still going on. The head ref, you know, talking to Jeremy McConnell first, then Bo Wills in the background of the interview we've just seen. As we want to take a quick look at the race again, Greg.
Yeah, we do. They looked solid throughout. The lead changed hands a huge number of times actually through that race, and it was hard to call up until the Warbles really who was going to do it. So the fact that they actually won by a 28-second gap in the end is pretty incredible. I mean, it just shows the importance of the Warbles. But they looked good throughout, and like Jake said, like he was chasing JK at times through that, and he was, you know, there was one run in particular where Jake the strongest, but JK coming in and out of the stations in particular, he was running so strong, like the JK that we come to know, particularly in the rock zones as he comes into the stations. He came into that, the burpee broad jumps in particular, he just couldn't wait to get started, and he was pinning through them. So yeah, it looks like he's really redeemed himself after last night. Looked really strong. He'll be encouraged by the performance that he's been able to put in to get the win in this doubles
race. A little bit of viewer discretion is in order here because Lauren is with Jeremy McConnell. Put your sunglasses on.
Jeremy, I mean, it was a little bit tense there, but you got the job done. Talk me through the waiting process of finding out whether you had qualified or not.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was just heat at the moment. Matt just came over to me and said we got it by 0.1 of a second. It's probably all I'm good for today with a sprint finish. Fabi got me out of a hole. I done my calf on the second run. It takes a bit of getting used to this course with the bends, but listen, all is well that ends well. We're going to Stockholm. and that 0.1 second, it's very sweet. It's very sweet.
Fabi, you said that having done a bit of racing together, that you changed your approach and your strategy for this race. What was it?
Yeah, we said we have to change the dynamics of the race, who starts the stations and who finishes it. And I think we did that very well. But in the end, it's always in talking to each other during the race, and we made some changes on the fly. And yeah, that worked out very well. And I saw that go on the screen, and then I said to Jeremy, sprint as fast as you can. We crossed the line and 0.1 second and qualified for World Championships in the first elite major. So that's super nice to have. Yeah, we're really proud of us.
Yeah, you should be. This is the most unlikely duo I can ever imagine.
About everybody that I pair with. I mean,
it's so true.
When they say the aliens are coming, I've been here since 1990. Do you know what I'm saying? So listen, it takes all sorts to make the world go round. I think that's about a team effort, adapt and overcome. And today we showed that we're ready for Phoenix. We're going to do an altitude training camp. So we'll have the cowboy hats on, and we'll be ready to go in Arizona. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, baby. Let's go.
Nice job. Well done, guys.
You gotta love him. You just gotta love him. He brings the entertainment to Hyrox, and boy, did those boys bring entertainment. Charlie Botterill and Ollie Russell. I mean, this is... Who was that Ollie Russell? It's not been Hamburg Ollie Russell. That was insane. That was Ollie Russell we've seen here today.
In defence to Hamburg Ollie Russell, he didn't do a lot wrong that day. You know, they finished fifth.
But he was off the pace on the run, and he was ahead on the run today. I mean, switching it like that with the travel they had here was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, he was. He looked good throughout the race. He didn't look like he was suffering. You know, he's with Charlie, one of the best Hyroxers there is. Like, we saw how good he was last night. But he held his own tonight. He held his own on the stations as well. Like, that move that they made on the lunges was incredible. He moves through those so well, but he held it on the runs. Like, it looks like he was suffering there on that last one. But, you know, he looked really good, and you can see what it means to him there at the end.
Yeah, my second secret hot take for this race is Charlie Botterill is going to take at least one medal at the World Championship. And why don't we hear from the boys themselves?
Ollie, Charlie, unbelievable. What a weekend you're having. We're off to Stockholm again. Off the back of Hamburg. And what people were talking about, how sweet is this moment? And the fact that you've done it together as such close friends.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I think, yeah, after Hamburg, wasn't too sure what was going to happen, kind of going into training, leading into this. I wasn't in a great headspace, and you know, a lot of my friends and family got around me, and they just, I don't know, kind of believed in me and gave me that pickup that I needed. And I mean, like, after watching him last night in the solos, I was like, we've got to go hard today, and I think we did exactly that.
You certainly did. Charlie, 2 from 2. What a weekend for you. Like, as you came to Melbourne, Australia, could you ever have imagined this kind of outcome?
Not really, and like, I feel ready to go again. I'm quite, I feel warmed up now. So no, it's been a good weekend, and the crowd's been great, and like, no, it's class, and like, we pushed it hard. We had a new game plan going into this weekend, like a different strategy compared to Hamburg, and I think it paid off quite well.
What about this guy's lunges?
Yeah, it's good. Like, we had a strategy, like, if we can get to the lunges in a good position, we know I've got strong lunges and Ollie's got strong lunges, and then it's kind of like hang on in there up to the wall balls and like kind of treat the in arch as the finish line almost when you get to the wall balls. So good result, and off we go to Stockholm.
Exactly that. I mean, boys, the World Championships beckons, but there's still a number of majors and some regionals before then. When can we next expect to see you out on course?
I think we're going to enjoy tonight and have a conversation, see what the score is. Charlie's got a lot of racing under his belt now with some of the solo stuff coming up, and I think I'm going to be putting a bit more of a focus on the doubles to try and stay on his heels. So we'll have a conversation after tonight, and yeah, we're just going to enjoy it and yeah, see what the crack is.
Well deserved. Enjoy every second. Congrats, lads. Great job.
Thank you.
What an incredible race, you know, you got to say. And how about those two boys? I've like, I've seen them basically coming into the sport. I feel almost proud of them, like to see how they went through the ranks. You know, they've always been incredible contenders, incredible athletes and races, and always been so nice and humble. But, you know, they had their struggles as well, and here they are. And they were hiding throughout the day, but look at the excitement, the boys. I mean, you know, hats off to Peter and Tom. Incredible, great to see the Belgians go through to Stockholm. And of course, we want to see how their race unfolded from their point of view.
Well, guys, that was some race, a real fight to the finish. What was the overriding emotion, Peter, when you crossed the line?
Oh, I'm so happy. I couldn't believe it. We qualify again here in Melbourne. This is our city. We're really out of our minds. We are so happy with it. Thank you. I also want to thank Till, because he was telling that racing in London last week and then racing here was hard. Well, we heard that on the live stream, and we wanted to prove him wrong. So Till, it is possible to race in London and then qualify in Melbourne.
Oh, Till, you are in trouble with our athletes this week. But honestly, that race in London, it must have put you under a certain amount of fatigue. How did you balance that in the early week?
Yeah, so I think it gave us just a really good feeling, the confidence boost that we needed, because last year, of course, we became 5th at the World Championship, but we didn't have a fast time, so nobody was looking at us. We started doubting ourselves, and then we maybe needed a fast race in London to get the feeling back, to just start here and go for that qualifying spot. It's our city, like Peter said. We did it here last year as well. So I couldn't be more proud of Peter and our team, because we do it again.
It's so interesting that you say that you feel like you're a bit under the radar and overlooked, because you have been in the mix for the last 2 years, not just in the doubles, but also the relay. You know, why should athletes fear you, and what is it about the connection that you have that make you so dangerous but also overlooked?
Well, the thing is, we are such a good friends. We know each other so well. We train together, we work together. We are continuously discussing all the details. Tom, he's gonna marry next weekend, so when we come back, he's gonna marry and I will be his best man. So we have such a good connection, and it's so nice to race together. He's always motivating me, and if I race with him, I always want to push just the extra mile. So I'm happy to race with Tom.
That's amazing. From now on, we're going to coin you your new nickname, the Best Men. That's what's happening in Stockholm. Congratulations, guys. Amazing job out there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melbourne. Thanks.
There we go, we nicknamed them all now. The Belgians are the best men. We got Botterill happening here. I'm looking forward to seeing what the suggestions are for Charlie Botterill and Ollie Russell. What a race has been. Take us a little bit through the tableau.
Yeah, incredible race. So we saw Jake Dearden and James Kelly take the win in a sub 50-minute performance, 49.52 from them. Brilliant. Ollie Russell and Charlie Botterill getting their first qualifying position, 50 minutes 20 from them. Jake Williamson and Alen Ploj already qualified in Hamburg. Another strong performance from them tonight, coming in the third. Peter Mays, Tom Fransen's, the Belgian lads, getting the fourth spot, second qualifying position. Tim Wenisch, Michael Barch, they finished in 5th. Tim's already qualified, so presumably the qualifying spot will roll down to Jeremy McCall and Fabi Eisenlauer, getting that third qualifying position.
Well, team, what an unbelievable weekend of racing that we have had here in Melbourne. I have to say, you're going to have to stop calling out athletes. It only makes them better. They want to prove you wrong.
There's not a lot of countries left I can travel to now.
No, not at all. What's been the main takeaway, Till, from this weekend of racing for you?
I can't handle that much drama. That's my takeaway, honestly. I'm out. That's it. Just like you, hard drive fried. I'm over. It's been incredible. No, the takeaway, all kidding aside, is exactly what we predicted. The sport is getting more and more professional. It's getting faster and faster. The athletes are getting closer and closer together in performance, and it makes the races pretty much unpredictable all the way to the finish line, because you don't know what happens within a second.
What's really interesting, Greg, is so many of the athletes are choosing to continue the season on to Phoenix despite already qualifying.
Yeah, and I think especially in the doubles, like being able to have that experience, that race experience, working with your partner, knowing like when they're suffering, how to approach the stations is important. Getting that race experience under your belt and being able to race in the stadium that we're going to be in Phoenix is probably important for them.
Exactly that. And Jane, it doesn't end here, because you're doing your third race of the weekend alongside qualifying with this specimen right here.
No, we're actually in the same heat as Hunter and Joanna. So look out, Hunter.
Did I just hear a challenge?
Well, we can't wait to see that unfold. It's going to be great after a weekend of broadcasting. Do you know what else we can't wait for? Traveling across the Atlantic to Phoenix, Arizona, in the iconic State Farm Stadium, the home of the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if you're an NFL fans around here, but I certainly am, and that is one very exciting venue. And we're going to be seeing the Elite 15 race on the same floor as the age group racing across the weekend too. So a huge amount to look forward to. Well, team, what a weekend we have had. Jane, thank you so much for joining us. Your expertise was unparalleled. To Greg, to Till, honestly, it's been a joy. It always is, working alongside you both. And from me, Lauren Smith, that is all from Melbourne in Australia. And what a spectacle it has been.